Hello all and welcome to a collection video, and today I'm going to be showcasing my PlayStation 1 Platinum collection and the first 52 games I've got so far. Now the original idea of this video was to be the first 50, however when I was on 48 I ended up buying 4 and they all turned up within a couple of days of each other, so I'm on 52, which is cool, and I'll probably do an update video when I pass 100, probably in the early 100s, because that'll be roughly 2/3 of the way through, and then when I get to finally to the 163 we will have part 3, and hopefully I'll be able to show you the entire collection of PlayStation 1 Platinums. Now I get a lot of people say to me, you're the only person I know that's actively going for a full PlayStation 1 Platinum set, and it's quite simple. My reasoning's why. It is because obviously I got the PlayStation 1, or the ability to play PlayStation 1 games back in my life towards the end of last year, perhaps in the middle actually. And obviously I wanted to go for the collection, and I thought, what is a good way to get a lot of the big hitters? And that was when the idea of going for PlayStation 1 Platinums came to me. Now, PlayStation 1 Platinums, yes, there are a lot of stellar titles. Not everyone's going to be my cup of tea, even though they are the big titles. And there are even some titles that, you somehow wonder how they made it to the Platinum. But it was a way for me to go for a nice subset of largely stellar titles with a few questionable ones perhaps, but also it's not an expensive set to go for as well. Most people talk about upgrading their black labels or upgrading to black labels because they've got a platinum. For me, I absolutely love these. I don't think you can get better, certainly when you're going for a platinum game, than the way the PlayStation 1 Platinums look. Out of all the platinum cases that they did, PS2 and so on, out of every classics and every hits case that's ever been released, for me, only the PlayStation 1 Platinum case has ever looked any good. And I'll tell you what, if you've got Platinums in your collection, amongst your black labels, yes, they're an eyesore when they're amongst the black labels, but split them up, put them all next to each other, and they certainly look beautiful, and that is what I have done. Anyway, we've gone on long enough here at the beginning. It's time to show you the first 52 PlayStation 1 Platinums that I've got in my collection, and yes, I've been playing around with Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere for the first couple of minutes of this video, and that is where we are going to start. Now, obviously, it's a flying game. We can see that by the plane on the front, but I have never played this, and it's a very recent pickup. It's one of the last 4 that put this up to 52 in my PlayStation 1 Platinums collection. Looks a lot of fun, was absolutely over the moon with the condition of this game. There is the back. I mean, it's got one slight small crack there, but that is splitting hairs. But the case for me is fine. Small cracks like that aren't that noticeable, aren't that bad. But there we go. That is Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere, and that is game 1 of 52. And of course, this one did come complete with manual and just in generally fantastic condition as well. Another recent purchase is the next one, beginning with A, and that is the original and first Actress Soccer. Now, they made 3 of these, but only the first one went platinum, so I picked this up. Now, this one was originally priced up at $1.99 on eBay with $1.99 delivery, and then 2 downward increments later, the seller had reduced it to $1.59, plus there's still $1.99 postage and packaging. So I snapped it up, as it was about $3.50 all in, if you round it down. So Actress Soccer, I do remember giving this a few plays back in the day, and it's all right. It's not the greatest of football games, but it was all right, certainly for the time. It did its thing a little bit differently when everybody was still buying their FIFAs and such, and obviously it got 3 games, but only the first one went platinum. And I've got this one complete in box with manual as well, and that is a proper thick and chunky manual as well. And the nice thing is, you never know if it's supposed to have extra little bits of paperwork in it, and it does have this little bit of a extra paraphernalia here. So yes, thick chunky manual, great condition as well. So Actress Soccer 2 ticked off the PlayStation Platinum collection. Now this one needs a little bit of a case upgrade, but it is kind of box complete, so it is considered as in the collection. Obviously we've got front inlay and we've got back inlay there. We've got some cracking on the case, but there you go. As you see, as I flipped it over, there is one of the problems, that the case is kind of all over the place as well, because we've got Air Combat there, and then if you look on the other side, we haven't got one at all. So it does need some replacement. It does need a sort of a case replacement, but we've got the inlay and we've got the instruction books and everything in it. And I picked it up as part of a 3-game deal in the London game market, and I must admit I didn't see all the little problems that it had had when I picked it up, but I picked it up for very cheap, and it's not an expensive one to get. So yes, another flying game. So we've got Ace Combat 3 and Air Combat in the collection at the moment, but it does need a box upgrade. Okay, next up, this one was gifted to me, and I did have this back in the day on the black label, and that is Alien Trilogy. What an absolutely stellar, fantastic game this is. And I do believe this one was gifted to me complete in box with its manual as well. So yes, nice condition manual to that one. So I'll have a flip and look at the back as well. I was going to say, I'm trying to get some good focus on these, so should you want to read the back, you may be able to if you pause the video. But what an absolutely stellar game this was, and I haven't played this one in God knows how long, well over 10 years. So I'm going to have to give this one a fire up real soon and another go. Next one I've got, again, another one that was gifted to me, and I played this back in the day and probably haven't played it for well over 10 years as well. Battle Arena Toshinden. Yes, complete in box with manual, this one as well. I remember this one needed a case upgrade, and I was able to provide it as well. So yes, let's have a look at the back. We've got plenty of screenshots of Battle Arena Toshinden on there. As I said, this fighter isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I really enjoyed it. So yes, this is another one that I really need to fire up sooner rather than later. Next up is a game that I played a ton of. Everybody must know Buster Move 2. Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition. Again, gifted to me this one. Everyone knows about, you know, making 3 bubbles and they pop, and if you sort of a little bit more strategic, you can make a big cluster fall down, and that's when you get the real big points. I think it needs a bit of a case replacement. Yeah, the front there is falling off, but we've got the manual, we've got everything in there, and I say case replacement isn't an issue. We're always looking out for cheap games just to replace cases with, but you know, everything's in there. So it is in the collection. As I say, we've got a bit of a crack there on the back, so it needs a case replacement all around, really. But there we go. Everybody knows Buster Move. What an absolutely belter of a game. Okay, next up, we've got a game I picked up very recently for not a lot of money. Literally, it was about £3 at a London gaming market, and I've never played it. It is complete. I think I've got a manual with this one as well, so we're doing well at the moment, but I know there are a couple missing manuals. But yes, C12 Final Resistance. Not all I can tell you about the game. Never played it. As I say, got to give it a bash soon at some point just to try it out. But there we go. Looking like a little bit of an open world element to it there. Look at that. But as I say, I don't know anything about it, so there's not a lot I can offer you on that one. But obviously, going for a full set, so it's nice to have that one ticked off the list and not pay a lot of money for it as well. Next up, we have gifted to me as well. I think this one just needs front case replacement. I think the back is all right. Let's have a look in a minute. Complete in its box with manual. Now, I played the original Cool Borders and absolutely loved it. So, Cool Borders for me was the snowboarding game to have, and I think there was 4 of them, and I think all 4 went platinum. So yes, it's nice to have Cool Borders 3. There is the back of the box, multiple languages there, and just stunning graphics for the time. Stunning graphics for the time. So yeah, I say I played the first Cool Borders, never played the third Cool Borders, so I need to fire this one up and give it a bash. So we've got Cool Borders 3. Next up, this one does need a little bit of work done to it. This was gifted to me and is one of the pricier platinums. As I say, with the platinums, they are at the cheaper end of the market, obviously, but there are still some that command a little bit of money because of what the games are. And generally, as a rule, the Crash ones are the one. Needs a bit of a front case replacement. It's got a crack there, got a bit of a crack there. And I do know that this is one that is actually missing a manual, so I do need a manual for Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and of course the manuals for the platinums do have platinum on them, so it's just not a case of getting any manual, it's a case of getting the right manual for it too. So we'll have a quick look back and flip it round, again in many languages, a few screenshots there at the top, but as I say, it needs a little bit of work, that one, but I'm counting it as in the collection because there's enough of it there for now. And I think the same applies for the next one. And this is a belter of a game, absolute belter of a game. Everyone always talks about Crash and Spyro when it comes to the 3D platformers, but what a game Croc Legend of the Gobbos was. Front inlay's got a little bit of damage there, and I do believe I need a manual for this one too. That's not too much of an issue. I'm sure I can source a manual or get an upgrade for my platinum at a later date in buying it complete with undamaged inlay and a manual. But there we go. What an absolute belting platformer this is. If you haven't played Croc but you play Crash and Spyro, I should suggest that you give this one a little bash. It is a really good game. Okay, next up, oh, I love these games. I haven't got the first one yet, but that is being rectified soon. But I do have the second one of Platinum. I do have the first one actually disc only, but that is definitely not being counted as in the collection yet. But Destruction Derby 2, what an update to a fantastic game. The first Destruction Derby was the reason why I always wanted a PS1. And to have the second one, they really did ramp it up, and they did such a good job of it as well. So this is, yes, complete in box with manual as well. I was very fortunate to have this one gifted to me as well. And there we go, there's the back there. I say the graphics ramped it up. The arena in this is just mental, how you can drive into the middle, basically go flying miles into the air. But what a game Destruction Derby is, and Destruction Derby 2 is a belter as well. I believe there's also Destruction Derby Raw, which did also go platinum as well. Okay, next up we have another belter of a game. As I say, that obviously platinums sold well, so a lot of these are going to be dubbed as belters. Bit of a crack there, so maybe do a front case replacement, or might be able to live with that one, to be honest with you. I picked this up at a London Gaming Market for £3. That is majorly underpriced just for the quality of this game. It's obviously got all three Die Hard games sort of within one game, and each game is sort of a different sort of genre as such. You sort of have an on-rails shooter, and then you have one where you have to get out the building at the beginning or something. Do you know what? It's just, again, a belting little game. And so to pick it up for nothing, or for very little, should I say, absolutely brilliant. I might need a case replacement because we've got a bit of a chip out of the corner there, I've just noticed. But it was complete in box with manual, and again, that is a nice, thick, chunky manual, and that one too. So yes, Die Hard Trilogy is an absolute stonking game. Next up, one I don't know anything about again. I picked up very recently for not a lot of money. Disney's Dinosaur. That does need a front case replacement, but everything is in there. We do have a manual, he says. We can get it open. There we go. Got a manual in there, and Celery put bubble wrap in. So, yes, complete box with manual. Needs a front case replacement. Again, don't know a lot about this. Looks a little bit open world, obviously with dinosaurs, because it's called Disney's Dinosaurs. I suspect, I know a lot of the Disney games did go platinum, but obviously put Disney on something, it's going to sell well. So I can't really judge this game on definitely going to be good just because it's a platinum. But obviously, put Disney branding on it, it's going to sell well. And with that, we'll bring up Disney's Monsters Inc. because if it's whatever it's got on the title is sort of kind of how I alphabetized it. So it does say Disney on the side of this, as did the last one. So Disney Pixar Monsters Inc. Scare Island. It's turned up a charity shop for £3 and is in great condition too. So complete with manual, a bit of inside inlay cover art there. That's always nice to see. And there we go. Yes, I say again, can't offer a great deal of info about this game. Looks, by the looks of it, a bit of a 3D platformer there. But Monsters Inc. I have seen the film, did really enjoy the film, so hoping that I'm going to be able to enjoy the game as well. I was going to say, it does look a lot of fun actually. Next up, we have the first of the Formula 1 games, and it is the original Formula 1. I remember when this dropped on the PlayStation back in the day. I think it was the first time Formula 1 got proper realistic, you know, real cars, real drivers and such. Again, this was purchased off eBay very recently for not a lot. It was like £2.95 delivered. And I hold a lot of nostalgia for this original Formula 1 game. I absolutely adore it. And it's one that I can quite happily just dip back into because of those memories. But as I say, I'd just never known a Formula 1 game like it until this dropped. And the commentary from Murray Walker as well just absolutely solidified this as a bit of an all-time great for me, to be honest with you. I do really enjoy it that much. But yeah, we've got Formula 1. And if we've got Formula 1, we've also got Formula 1 97 as well. I was going to say the game's really went on well for quite some time on the PlayStation 1, and everyone was obviously stoked for the yearly releases, even though they owned the previous one, and this was no different. Formula 1 97, again, another great game. The commentary from Murray Walker is in it as well, with Martin Brundle this time, so absolutely fantastic. I do believe this is complete in box with manual as well. Yes, it is in great condition, so very pleased to have that. And then recently I also purchased Formula 1 2001. I paid like $3.95 for this, all in, delivered off eBay. That's not a lot as well. And it came complete in box with manual too. A little, you know, that is not going to be enough to warrant a case replacement if you ask me. But Formula 1 2001, official licensed product, there we go. Still got Murray Walker, Martin Brundle doing it. And it's quite funny because obviously you have to meet a certain sales requirements to become a platinum. Obviously, the original Formula 1 did, Formula 1 97 did, and then the next Formula 1 and the last Formula 1 to make platinum was this one, Formula 1 2001. So they're the only three Formula 1 games that have gone platinum, so I've kind of got a little subset there within a subset in owning all the Formula 1 games that went platinum on the platinum label. Okay, so next up, Absolutely belting game again. G Police picked up at the Doncaster Video Game Market very recently. It's a 2-discer. Both discs are in great condition. We've got a manual inside there. Yes, G Police. I was going to say, oh, God, they really did knock it out of the park with this one a little bit. Absolutely fantastic game where you sort of fly this helicopter in the sky, shooting. I can't, you know what, it's been a long time since I played it. I'm troubled to remember what perspective you had in the game, but absolutely belting game, really is. Really remember having a lot of fun with this. I need to play this again and refresh the memory on that one. Next up, game that needs no introduction really, Grand Theft Auto. When this dropped, wow, I actually have this black label, and obviously because I'm going for the platinum set, got the platinum complete with map and manual. So yeah, that black label one is going to be available because I don't want 2 copies of this one. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto, that obviously the original one, the top-down view, and then you know the way it's a Grand Theft Auto at the beginning, and you run off to do the first mission. How long was it before I got bored of doing the missions and then just wanted to drive around doing chaos? I think we were all guilty of doing that. And then there was the cheat to unlock all weapons as well. So I used to just input that and just go mental and see how long you could survive for, or at least I did. But yes, the original Grand Theft Auto, and there's some screenshots of the top-down view that we're talking about there. An absolute belter of a game and I mean, look at the franchise that it's spawned to this day. Amazing. Okay, next up, game I know nothing about and still haven't played despite buying it at the London Gaming Market last year. I think the middle one of the 3. In Cold Blood. It was like only £3 as well. I believe it's a 2-discer. Yes, it is. Complete box of manual. I haven't played it, but from what I can glean off the back and a little bit of footage from somebody else who picked it up recently, it looks a little bit like a survival horror game. I'm not entirely sure, but certainly does look interesting. 2 discs, so quite a big game. So very much looking forward to giving In Cold Blood a try at some points. Next up, button bashing game Supreme International Track and Field. Again, a very, very recent pickup. Front inlay has fallen out because it wasn't in there properly, clearly. But there we go, complete in box with manual. I'll sort that front inlay out properly in a minute. It's kind of holding in there nicely, actually. But yes, button bashing game Supreme, but just so much fun. And the competitions you could have with your friends at this was just absolutely amazing, trying to get the best times in your athletics events and swimming, which I'd actually forgotten about. But there is an image of swimming, so it's clearly on there as well. But International Track and Field, yeah, just another great game, to be honest with you. Talk about great games. Game I need to play again because I'm struggling to remember a lot about it. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Picked up at London Game Market very recently as well. I think I only paid about £8 for this. And this is complete in box with manual as well. I would have picked it up if the manual was missing. But yes, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Again, struggling to remember it. I need to give this a go again soon. But yes, I can remember it certainly being a great game and having a lot of fun with it. I just need to play it again real soon to actually remember it. Okay, next up, another recent purchase. Top-down sort of, I want to say dungeon crawler, but you sort of got that isometric top-down view-ish and blood everywhere. Absolutely addictively fun game. Love the cover art on this one as well. As I said, this was picked up recently in a CEX sort of roulette video that I'd done. In fact, there we go. Still got a CEX label on the back, but a few there screenshots there on the left. But what a game load. Yeah, another great game loaded. Absolutely fantastic. Next up, one of the very early ones that I got when I got a bundle gifted to me by my good friend Sean of Retro Games Revived. And one of those was Mickey's Wild Adventure. This is, again, is a game I haven't played a lot of. I've recently learned that this was kind of Mickey Mania renamed for the PlayStation 1, because obviously Mickey Mania was on all the 16-bit games. But it's the only Mickey game in the Platinum Collection. I'm not sure there's other Mickey games on the PlayStation 1, but this is definitely the only Mickey Platinum game. Plenty of screenshots there on the back. It looks a beautiful game. Again, this is one that I need to get around to trying real soon. Okay, what a game. I'm going to say that a lot about a lot of these because they are Platinum. A lot of them are Platinum for a reason. Micro Machines V3. I can remember when this came to the PlayStation and giving this a bash, that it was just non-stop. You know, it was always just one more race. It is a traditional Micro Machines game with obviously a 3D element about it that the Mega Drive didn't do. But what a game again it was. Everybody loves a bit of Micro Machine. Multiplayer fun. And of course complete in box with manual as well. So very pleased to have this one. Next up, Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Your Mortal Kombat fix. Just everything you could need. Everything you could need in a Mortal Kombat game with every character ever available. I know they had Mortal Kombat 3 before this on the PlayStation 1, but to me it wasn't as good as Trilogy, and I can just remember playing this a lot when it came out. I love fighting games. Mortal Kombat is an absolute great game within fighting games. And yes, I'm just, at the moment I'm struggling for words because all these memories flooding coming back of playing this and just being the multiple characters that you could be. And this was just one of the ones that I had to get early on, and I bought it at London Game Market, I think, for 18 quid. I could, probably have paid less if I waited, but it's one of those I had to have because it's that damn good. Okay, next up. I've never played a real golf game before, but I own a couple on a 360, and I own one as part of the PlayStation Platinum set. I think it might be the only golf game that has gone platinum, but PGA Tour 96. Will I ever give it a try? Probably at passing, but if I do try it, I've got nothing against golf and golf games, but golf games for me, when they're serious, just isn't my bag, basically. But yeah, I'll stick to the Kinect and the Wii golf games and any crazy golf game. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of playing golf games and golf games seriously. But this was £2.50. All in, delivered off eBay. They can't have made out of this. Needs a front case replacement there with a crack on it, I would say. But yeah, got to get it. So it is ticked off the list. This next one holds a lot of nostalgia for me, because it was one of the first games I bought outside of what come bundled with my system, I believe. Porsche Challenge, an absolute brilliant little racing game. Did it as part of my first time in over 10 years series a couple of months ago now. I think a lot of people enjoyed getting this one back out again, and a lot of people that never played it was like, oh, that's a little bit of a cracker, isn't it? So I wouldn't say it's a bit of a hidden gem, but if you haven't played it, honestly, it is a good little racer. I highly recommend it. And there we go. You can only be the Porsche Boxster in it, but that doesn't take away from how much fun this is. Honestly, it's brilliant. And again, for its time, it was absolutely amazing. It really was absolutely amazing. But what a game. Yeah, I highly recommend giving Porsche Challenger a bash if you haven't already. Next up, classic platformer. Everyone knows of the Rayman character. This is the original Rayman. Absolute belter of a game. Complete in box with manual, this one. This one's in late, wants to fall out as well. So yes, absolutely belting game, Rayman. I think I can feel a crack on the back, so it might, yeah, that might need a little bit of a case replacement there. But yeah, beautifully bright, colourful platformer, Rayman. Absolutely really enjoy playing the Rayman games. So yeah, nice to have that one. Next up, this one is, yeah, we all know about these. I haven't got the first Resident Evil on Platinum yet, but I have got the second one. Now, the first and second one are the only two games I really put time into. And the first one was brilliant, and the second one just turned it up to 11, didn't it? It was absolutely amazing. What a game this was. And I'm just so grateful, again, that this was gifted to me by Sean of Retro Games Revived about 18 months ago now, quite a little bit of a while ago, but a 2-disc game as well, and it's in fantastic condition as well. And this one holds some price as well, so this one will be cherished in the collection forever. This is going nowhere. Absolutely love Resident Evil 2. Okay, next up, bought the London Gaming Market because I love the franchise. Haven't actually played it on the PlayStation 1. Played a ton of it on the Mega Drive, so as long as it's like that, which I'm sure it will be, then I'm very much going to enjoy this. So, yes, Road Rash on the PlayStation. And, yes, it looks exactly like the Mega Drive, but obviously with very, very much updated graphics in comparison. But what is, everyone knows Road Rash, driving your bikes, trying to knock the guy off next to you. Hours of fun. As I say, when I had it on the Mega Drive, I can remember playing a lot of it, and again, just great memories of Road Rash. Next up, love this. Pure nostalgia for this game. I played so much of this. I think it was between this I think I bought it before Porsche Challenge, but this was literally, didn't come bundled with the system, and it was an essential purchase because I absolutely adored this in the arcade. The music, the feel of it, and obviously the graphics for its time was way ahead of anything else. Just absolutely amazing. Absolutely adore Ridge Racer. It is one that I still, after I got it again and hadn't played it for over 10 years and did that debut video in the series the first time in over 10 years, ever since that video I just pop this in and out regularly and play a little bit more of it. I absolutely adore it that much. It was one of the first times that I realised that you could get arcade games at home, nearly perfect ports of them as well. What a game. And of course they didn't disappoint in the follow-up as well. Ridge Racer Revolution, what a game too. I think I've got this one complete in box with manual. Ridge Racer had the manual as well. This one's got the manual. And yeah, just a great follow-up to a great game. Just a great follow-up to a great game. Got so much love for the early Ridge Racer games. I really, really have. And Ridge Racer Type 4 as well. Next up, I love my beat-em-ups. I love the Soul Calibur series. And obviously this is Soul Blade. I believe it was Soul Edge in the arcades, and then it was updated and expanded a bit for the PlayStation. and they renamed it Soul Blade. And I was going to say, great. So I paid about £8 for this recently at Gaming Market as well. It comes completely manual, but I think one of the hinges is broken, so it does need a bit of a case replacement. So when it's holding together, it will come away every now and again. So that might, yeah, there you go. See, like that at the top there. So that needs a case replacement. But what a game this is! What a game this is! Again, just a great bit. I love my beat 'em ups, and this is one of those top franchises as well within the beat 'em up genres. Yes, what a great game. Soul Blade, complete in box with manual. Next up, we've got a Spyro game. Again, I know PlayStation Platinum games are cheaper, but again, Spyro games as well still command a little bit of money. So very pleased to have this one gifted to me as well. I believe it was by Eddie of Rollercore, this one. Nice, thick, chunky manual in there. Everything's in there. It's in fantastic condition. As I say, so pleased to have this. Obviously, I think pretty much all the Spyro games went platinum. This is the second one. Again, 3D platforming, along with Crash and Croc. Very good 3D platformer. Okay, next up. A lot of people hate on it, but I absolutely love it. Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha, and I actually played a ton of this as well. People need to realise that it isn't a 3D fighter as such. It's a 2D fighter with 3D graphics. And to me, it was just a nice change. It was a nice little bit of an addition to the Street Fighter franchise, something they hadn't done before a little bit, you know. And I really enjoyed it. I really do like this game, you know. It's not a bad game at all. Again, just you can't really go wrong with a Street Fighter game in my eyes. Yes, it's a little bit, I say it's a little bit different, but you know what? Great game, Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha. Okay, next up is something I need to play. Can't offer much information on this, but this is the good thing about buying and going for subsets. Sometimes you'll end up with games that you've never played before, and you'll give them a try, and Siphon Filter 2 will be in that bracket. Complete in box of manual. It's a 2-disc game as well. I hadn't realised that. But yeah, I need to give Siphon Filter 2 a try. There is the back. Looks a little bit of an FPS there. Perhaps a little bit third person going on there with that camera angle down there. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, can't offer a lot of information on Siphon Filter 2, but it's off the Platinum Collection list. So absolutely, yep, look forward to giving this one a try. Here we go. Now I've got all 3 Tekken's black label, and I will obviously need to get the platinum so that they can be part of the platinum set. However, those 3 black labels that I've got will not leave. They'll be the only game that will remain duplicated, just because they're my original ones, and I loved the franchise so much. I still love the franchise so much. But Tekken 1, good game. Tekken 2, amazing game. Tekken 3, best in the franchise today. Still my favourite to this day. So to have Tekken 2 on Platinum, I believe this was gifted to me as well. I mean, they're not going to be top on my list because I do already have a copy of the game, but I do need them for the set. So yes, Tekken 2, got that one off the list. Next up, bought this a long time ago for real cheap, brand new, and it was one of the ones that remained that never got sold on when I was raising money for my next console. And I can't remember a lot about it, but obviously it's the Italian Job, so it's going to be some kind of driving game. Got it complete in box with manual, so let's have a look at some of the screenshots on the back. There we go. Yep, not entirely sure what you got to do here, but there you go. I paid £9.99 for it, and yes, can't offer a lot of information on it, but yeah, good to have the Italian Job. As I say, any platinum, it's good to have. It's off the list. And I think we're into the last pile. We've got another game I picked up recently that I need to play and give a try because I can't really offer a lot of information on the gameplay. The Lost World Jurassic Park. If I bought it recently, it will have a manual, and it does. So yes, obviously Jurassic Park, dinosaurs. Again, there we go. There's a little bit of information on the back should you want to read it and pause it so you can learn a little bit more about the game. But yes, nice to have Jurassic Park, The Lost World in the collection. Next up, yes, another belter of a game. There's obviously Time Crisis Project Titan as well, which has gone platinum, but this is the original, and what a game this was. What a game this was. I mean, back in the day, I never owned it. I mean, this was gifted to me recently as well. And I never owned it back in the day, but my mate had it with the gun, and obviously I had a CRT TV back then when I was a kid, and I borrowed the game and the gun off him, you know, and lent him something else in exchange. And when I played it, or he let me have it for a week, I played it solidly for a week. What a game. I mean, in the arcade, obviously, it had the pedal and everything. You didn't have it at home, you had a button on the side. But seriously, what a game. Hours of fun with this, hours of fun with this. So yes, comes complete in its box with manual, got all that in there. And absolutely, yeah. Time, if you know retro gaming, you know Time Crisis, don't you? If you know your retro game, what an absolute belter, absolute belter. Time Crisis 2 was even better as well. Have to be honest with you. Okay, next up, another game I played a ton of back in the day, TOCA Touring Car Championship. A recent first time in over 10 years was done on this. complete in box with manual. Again, many happy memories playing this. I absolutely love this. Playing it again recently, I forgot how tough it was, but with a bit of practice, I'm sure I can nail this one down. Absolute belter of a driving game. And so is its sequel, TOCA Touring Cars 2. Great follow-up. Again, say I had both of them back in the day, recently got them both back again. Complete in box with manual and extra bit of paper for me there. But an absolute brilliant game again. Both of them are. And they added, looks like they added extra type of cars in it as well. So it's been a long time since I played this one. Again, over 10 years, so I'll have to give this one a blast. And then finally, a game I didn't actually know about. But this is actually a different TOCA game, TOCA World Touring Cars. I didn't know about this one. So if it's anything like the first two, or an improvement on the first two, this is going to be a stellar game as well. So yes, TOCA World Touring Cars. So this one, it needs to be played for the first time. And looking at those graphics on there, it does look like they've ramped it up as well. So yes, TOCA World Touring Cars, need to give that a bash. Next up, we have Tomb Raider. What collection isn't complete without a Tomb Raider game, or certainly the first Tomb Raider game? Very, very recently gifted to me by Nathan Retro 1. So cheers for that, buddy. Complete in box with manual. And again, yeah, an absolute classic. I mean, hasn't aged well in regards to graphics and controls, but as I say, the pure nostalgia of this, you'll look at this with rose tinted glasses and it will still be awesome. So yes, Tomb Raider. And we've got the second one as well. This one was all about trapping the butler in the fridge, or the freezer even, wasn't it? So yes, Tomb Raider 2 as well. And there we go, that's complete in box with manual as well. Still need the third one. So with that, we're on to a recent pickup again, as the Doncaster game market was only back in March the 1st, and I picked this up for a whole 50p, I believe. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. Someone was just clearing them all. There were a few platinums amongst it, and this was the only one that was in good condition that I needed, and it was complete in box manual as well. So yeah, got a bit of a crack there. I might live with that one rather than replace it, but there we go. I think there's a couple of Tom Clancy's in the Platinum Collection, and I've still got to get a couple of them. Next up is a game that I need to try, so I can't offer a lot of info on it. Tomorrow Never Dies 007. It does say Tomorrow Never Dies on the side rather than 007 at the front of it. Obviously Pierce Brosnan there looking rather sharp. There's the back of it, so it looks like third person with some driving elements to it as well. So very much looking forward to trying that. Complete in box with manual. So there are a couple of Bond games in the Platinum Collection. I believe 007 Racing and World Is Not Enough is also in there. Next up, another one that I got very early on gifted to me, True Pinball. One of the only pinball games I think I played on the PlayStation 1, despite there being a plethora of them actually. I've discovered one recently which I haven't got around to trying, an Elemental Pinball. But True Pinball, absolutely amazing game. There's the back, look at the colourful tables and all that. It is an absolute belter game. If you like pinball, then on your gaming systems, then this one, you need it. It's absolutely brilliantly. Again, haven't played it in over 10 years, struggling to remember it, need to rectify that again real soon. That over 10 years thing also applies to V-Rally. What a game this was. For me, I always preferred the V-Rallys over the Colin McRae's. They just felt a little bit more arcadey, and because of that, I enjoyed them a little bit more. I believe the Platinum, there you go, look, exclusive Platinum features, has a car in it that isn't available in the Black Label version of it, and it's apparently DualShock compatible, so maybe it wasn't the original one, or the Black Label one, should I say. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, stonking game this. As I say, I know the Colin McRae's went Platinum as well. I think V-Rally 2 did go Platinum as well, but I haven't got that yet. But there we go, complete in box with manual. Manual's a little bit ropey, but it will be all right. So I'm not too fussed about a little bit of damage to my manual as long as they are in reasonable condition. Okay, second to last game, another belter, which again doesn't need much explanation. The first Wipeout, there was Wipeout 2097 as well, which also went Platinum. But this one is just, absolutely belting, isn't it? I remember this. It was very, very sort of unique actual racer for its time. And in fact, if anything sort of replicates the flying ship racing type things, it's always dubbed as like Wipeout. So it was kind of revolutionary in the way that it did its racing in this game. But there we go, some fantastic screenshots there. And I can tell by the weight of this one as well, we've got the manual in there as well. I believe this was part of a 3 games deal at the London Gaming Market, along with that Air Combat, which needs replacing. But again, I didn't pay an awful lot for this at all. And now we're on to the final game. And this, again, doesn't need much explanation. It's Worms, a classic strategy game, isn't it? An absolutely belting game. and game 52 of my first 52 as well. So there's a little look at the back as well, but we all know worms, don't we? And there we go. Of course, I can feel the fact it's got a manual in it too, although it's feeling like the case needs a little bit of a replacement because one of the hinges is a little bit ropey. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first 52 Platinums I've got in the PlayStation 1 Platinum set. I am going for the full set, which at the moment I believe is 163, but that includes a Platinum which was only made and released in France, and I think some of the others might be region released as well. So there's some, some homework to do there, and I'm saying that about some of the FIFAs. But that is a look at the first 52. I intend to do an update video in the future when I get past 100, so probably 100 and something, sort of the 2/3 mark, with regards to there being 163, and then the third video in this series, whenever that may be, that could be a good couple of years away for all we know, will be the full 163, and we shall go through them all again, and hopefully I will have at least given all of them a little bit of a try, and we can talk about them all. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me in this look at the first 52 games in my PlayStation 1 Platinum Collection. There are already more on the way, so the 100 mark may be coming sooner rather than later, who knows. But thank you for joining me on this first video in this very long drawn stretched out series of 3 videos. That just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching, and as always, please do take care.